Welcome to Power Marriage. My name is Pablo, and this is my beautiful wife.
Maricel y Malte.
We're Power Marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to talk about progressive hardening of the heart.
Okay. What does that mean?
And what does that mean, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of words all jumbled up together, right?
Yep.
Um, what does it mean? Want me to
Mm-hmm.
answer, or you want to answer?
Sure.
Uh, well, hardening of the heart, that happens when your heart starts to get cold,
Mm.
chilly. Your heart's like, "Ooh, I need a jacket, I need a scarf and gloves." And no, so right in marriage, it can happen that we little by little start getting our heart cold towards our spouse.
Mm.
We made a recent video talking about grace, how grace is very important in a marriage and forgiveness. And when you're hardening your heart, when your heart gets hardened,
Mm-hmm.
or you have a hard heart, then it becomes more difficult to forgive your spouse.
Okay.
And progressive hardening usually happens little bit incrementally at a time. Um, Usually when people first get married, right, or when they're in that in love phase before they even married, they go on dates, they go on
Mm-hmm.
things, and you don't see anything wrong
No.
with the person. There could be all kinds of red flags, and other people kind of telling you, hey, you sure she's not a little, and you're like, no, no, she's
Oh, she's
perfect, she's
perfect. Oh,
beautiful,
he's
she's the
nice. He's
most.
awesome.
I'm talking about you now. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the most amazing woman in the world. There's nothing wrong with her,
Mm.
nothing at all. And even though there's some red flags, you kind of like overlook them because you're just in love, you're just infatuated, you let your feelings take over.
Mm. So you don't see anything wrong
You don't see anything wrong.
at that moment.
Yes.
Mm.
And then kind of what happens is, right, you get married, and once you get married and you move together, right, you're living together. Once you get married, then it's like now you see that person every single day, and now your differences start to pop up. And still, towards the beginning, depending on how recent it is, right, you still overlook a lot of the things, but there's just things that'll start going on that you're not sure that you didn't know about the person.
Mm-hmm. Like, I guess for instance, would be a person that has OCD traits, or that they like everything a specific way.
I don't have OCD.
No, not a lot. Or if everything has to be a certain way, but I think your certain way it's different. It's certain things that not if they're out of place, like if he sees my shoes, I know that used to bother him.
I was joking, like when I mentioned me.
Oh, okay,
You don't gotta
sorry.
go ahead and talk about
Okay,
me.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, so that's
Mhm.
definitely one thing, right?
Mhm.
And also, right, so before the marriage, right, when you go on dates, you kind of get dressed up, and right,
Yeah.
I used to comb my hair and get a haircut, and then it
Mm.
happens, I need a haircut now, and I need to comb my hair, but
No te peinas el pelo. You don't comb your hair. Oh, okay, that's what I'm
wow.
translating. What is?
And then it happens where after you're married, maybe the one of the spouse, either or, right, the husband or the wife, maybe both of them, maybe one, usually one or the other, just doesn't, get fixed up
No,
anymore, right? Doesn't comb
doesn't.
doesn't comb their hair, like,
They're
I
not taking
forget
care of
sometimes.
themselves.
Doesn't
Self care.
shave a lot, doesn't try to look nice
Mm.
for the other spouse.
I think I look nice today.
Yeah. And I think kind of what happens is the routine, right? Things
Mhm.
start going on, and it's just like you forget about those things.
Yep.
And that, again, little by little, that can make the other spouse feel a certain way,
Mhm.
right? And then their heart progressively, right? Because they're the ones who are watching this saying, oh my God, he doesn't comb his hair. Again, I got a part in that too. If I'm not
Mhm.
combing my hair, I got a part in that because I'm not combing my hair. And now maybe she feels like, oh, well, he used to always look so nice and cleaned up and, shaven and, comb his hair before we go on a date whenever he used to take me out, wherever we went anywhere, or every time, she saw me. But then now that's not happening. So little by little, her heart starts to get hardened, thinking, well, he doesn't care about me in a certain way, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Huh.
what else? You got other examples? These are
Um.
examples of progressive hardening of the heart, of how it can happen.
Even like a person that used to do dishes, in the beginning they stopped doing them, or they don't put the toilet seat down. Those are the little things that might bother the other person. um, I think I'm so thankful that you always put the sit down, because that would bother me.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I just got into a habit.
he never.
I have sisters, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then right, we talked earlier about right before the marriage, maybe you used to get dressed and go on dates every now and then, right, once a week or twice a week, depending on how much you wanted to see when you were dating and courting each other. Uh, but then all of a sudden you're married, and now you don't want to go anywhere. You just want to stay in the house. Like I know there's a lot of men nowadays that stay in the house and want to watch sports or want to play video games, and it's like you don't take any time to put any attention on your spouse, but you take all your free time for yourself.
Okay.
Being a little selfish.
Then also the spiritual blindness too.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead. You want to talk about spiritual blindness?
Well, I guess the spiritual blindness will come as you start pointing all the flaws and all the failures and everything that your spouse is doing incorrect, right? Or everything that is bothering you, you start to compare. You start to look at their spiritual way of doing things. Or he's not doing it this way. Oh, what's going on? And you don't see your own self and your own flaws and your own mistakes and your own failures. But you think everything is okay with you, but not with your spouse.
Yeah, and I remember a while ago, I was reading a book, and don't ask me the name of the book, but anyway, it says right that we as people, right, we like to judge ourselves based on our motives. Right, we judge ourselves based on our motives and our principles, what we believe in, but then we judge others on their actions and what they actually do. Right, and that's a big thing there. That ends up being, that's kind of what spiritual blindness is, that we don't look at ourselves to see, all right, well, I get it that that's our motives and this is whatever, but we don't look at what are the other person's motives for their actions, and we just say, well, we did that, but I mean, it was just, I'm not a liar. I just told the insurance guy that I drive 20 miles a week, right, 80 miles a month, when actually I drive 20 miles a day to go to work and come back. It's nothing to say that, it's not a big deal, just as an example, and but we don't. But if somebody else does it, then we're going to tell them, hey, well, that's lying. You're technically lying, and
and it's also something that the person that doesn't see anything wrong with their actions, it's kind of like, well, let's pretend that I'm telling a sister, hey, this is this and that about my husband. I need you to pray. I need you to do this. I need you to help me so my husband could change. But in fact is that that's not what it is, or the person wants that change. Like, what is it that you said? The process, and seldom it's an event.
Oh yeah,
So,
change is often a process. Change is a process. Let's say 99% of the time, right? Change is a process. Maybe 98 if you want, it just depends. But change is a process. Change is seldom an event. It's not usually one event for change, right? Where, just as an example, we're talking, and we hear a lot of people say, well, I'm going to go Sunday, or I'm going to have the pastor pray for me because I need to stop or change this behavior. So if they pray for me, then I'll God will make the change in me or whatever. They just want, go, pray, done. All right, it's almost like if you wake up today and you go, you know what, I just noticed I'm 50 pounds overweight. You know what, I'm going to go run 10 miles today, and that's it. Took care of the problem. I'm going to, or I'm not going to eat anything for the next 48 hours, and that's it. Problem solved.
yeah.
No, it's a process, it's change is a process, and change is something where we got to do and be in that process. We have to commit to things and daily little habits that can change us, right?
Yeah, there's not a magical pill. And it's not like what you said, it's not something, I'm going to go to church today and by the end of the day, everything's going to be perfect, everything's going to change. It's a process.
Yeah, I don't do anything, but today, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this. I'm just gonna pray today, and that God's gonna change everything around. As opposed to, well, let me pray every day a little bit, right? Let me talk to
Yeah.
my Father in heaven.
Okay.
I think that's
That's it.
all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna talk about that change
Okay.
again. That as you mentioned, and we have had people that want to talk to us. And the same, right? It's just they usually say, right, if it's the husband, well, hey, I need to talk to you. Can you or can your wife talk to my wife because she's just the worst. It's just again they usually one of the spouse. That's where the spiritual blindness comes in. That we tend to see all those little things that we talked about earlier, right? Little things that go adding up, and eventually you have like some kind of resentment towards your spouse, and then you just always think that if they changed, right? It's all those things that they do, but if they changed and they didn't do that, then the marriage would be okay. When the reality is, we need to change ourselves. Maybe we need to change how we're viewing our spouse, right? And that's where grace and forgiveness comes in, and learn to accept, right?
Yep.
We say, God, help us accept the things that we can change, or accept the things that we cannot change, and help us change the things that we can change. Something to that effect, right?
Yep.
Anything else you want to tell
No.
the people? No?
Mm-mm.
You don't want to tell them to subscribe to our channel?
Yes, definitely.
You don't want to tell them to leave some comments?
Subscribe to our channels. If you enjoy our videos, let us know. And like our stuff and share if you want.
Yeah, there's a like button. It has like a thumbs up, and there's one that has a thumbs down. Forget about the thumbs down. It doesn't exist. But the thumbs up, go ahead and karate kick it.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.